Hey everybody, welcome to the Exp Talk Show. We got a good episode ahead for you. My name is Steve. You can call me Konky. Konky Talks. We're going to be talking with Blizz Bear. Blizz, feel free to introduce yourself. Hi.
First and foremost, I had no idea your name was Steve.
Well, there you go.
Cool.
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. Hi everyone, my name is Blizz Bear. My pronouns are he, him. I'm a variety content creator that focuses mostly on creating a welcoming community on the internet, but also I gotta say good things about myself, because the majority of the time when I do my intro, I say the bad things. I'm like, I'm a gaslighter, love arson, crime, love that. But I focus mostly on covering true crime cases, doing variety gaming, and a lot of just chatting content that also focuses on reaction videos and stuff like that. It's a plethora of content and variety, so I tend to do a lot. I'm also a producer and content creator for a company called Rooster Teeth. They've been around for like a hot minute. If you've ever heard Red versus Blue, or Genlock, or Ruby. Ruby is one of their biggest animations. And yeah, I think that's about it. I think that's about it about me.
That's it. Yeah. No, that's a good intro. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, welcome to the show, and thank you again for coming on. Like, I was very excited to reach out, and I have like a few people that I have like queued up, but I was like, one of the things you gave me, and not only in your stream, but like, you know, via DMs, was like, you know, protect your energy, and that was like a mantra. That was something I like really took to heart.
Oh yeah, protect your energy, because there's people out there that genuinely want to steal your energy, and honestly, I'm too tired for people to do that.
Right,
like,
already tired.
I'm already tired, and you cannot have the last thing that I have, please.
Yeah, please. Yeah, it's very personal. So thank you for that little nugget. Yeah. So I guess like what I want to start with is, well, I want to talk a little bit about like how I got introduced to you. It was definitely through Luxy. So Luxy Games, I believe, rated you one time, and then you already had like Steven Universe alerts. And I don't know about you, but like Steven Universe is kind of like a litmus test for like how cool somebody is for me.
Honestly, and that's a fair litmus test, because I personally, Steven Universe it's a great show, first and foremost. But I think it's very good at communicating adult topics to a younger audience, like for example, what's consent, how to effectively apologize, your actions have consequences, just stuff like that. And it's just, I don't know, the soundtrack's really beautiful too. Like every song they do is beautiful and creative. The storyline, the first couple of episodes, like first 10 episodes, you don't need it, but empty, after that you start jumping into the lore, and you're like, oh my god, there's so much like pain and emotion in here.
It picks up so fast. You're like, wait a second, this isn't just a kid show.
I'm curious, and like if I could go back in time and be 10 years old and Steven Universe is still like a thing on the TV, would I be able to pick up as much as I'm picking up now, like when watching it?
I don't know. I think it's one of those things where like it means more. Like I think good shows do this, especially for like animation. Like Bluey is one of those things where like I don't know Bluey at all in terms of the cartoon or anything, but like there are a lot of adults experiencing really intimate, like emotional, vulnerable moments because of a show. And and all of that has to do with their lived experience, and the kids, like, they like it because, you know,
it's Bluey.
It's Bluey. Yeah. But like the adults are like crying while they're like watching it with their kids and playing, like, Mom, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, it's fine. Like Steven Universe was the same, you know?
I wonder if it's like a secret thing that like show writers do. They're like, oh, we're going to cater to the kids, but just for the parents that are watching, we're going to give you emotional trauma and you won't know. Well, you're going to think this is just a kid's show.
I think the emotional trauma is more about like the unhealed wounds that like we have that we just don't pay attention to. You know, Steven Universe was very much like that. Like Here Comes a Thought was like, when that song came on, I was like, okay, why am I bawling? I'm like,
it's like, oh, damn, I realize I have anxiety now.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
I didn't know you could sing about anxiety. Like, you know,
whoa.
Yeah, you can articulate it as best as I can, but you put it into such beautiful words, and now I'm like spiraling, and you literally like took everything that like, oh, man, yeah, just so good. So yeah,
that song was the reason I quit my government job, I want you to know.
Really?
it was a good song, and I was like, why am I
Wow.
doing this job that I hate?
Wow.
I am not having the I would leave my job crying in my car, and I'm like,
Oh my
why am I
goodness.
putting myself through this? And then I just became a full-time content creator. Put in
my
my 2
goodness.
weeks.
Okay, well let's just jump right into it then. Yeah. So like before you even started streaming, like so Steven Universe and the lessons that came to you like through that show, that those were part of, you know, pre Blizz Bear.
Yeah.
So what was that like? So like I know we talked a little bit about like you growing up and your mom being like a really good influence for you in terms of like, you know, trusting yourself and believing in yourself, but like how was life before streaming for you? Like what did that look like?
It was life before streaming. It was me going to school, me experiencing college, and understanding that I might be bisexual in college. And I probably thought about that in high school, but then I didn't have a term to coin it, basically.
Kind of like the anxiety thing. You didn't know.
Yeah, had
the
no
words.
idea anxiety was a thing. But then, you know, going to college, experiencing things called mental health, and also experiencing the college experience and sexuality and discovering more about myself. Once I graduated with like a bachelor's in biochemistry.
Yeah.
And I started working for an engineering company completely afterwards for the government. And it was fun, had a great time. There was a lot of things that I was dealing with mental health, but my family never understood it because I come from a very religious background.
Okay.
And a lot of the times when you deal with mental health, a lot of times people will say, oh, just pray it away. And it's like, no.
Right.
Like something's going on and I probably need to be medicated.
Sure.
So it was a constant, like, it constantly felt like I was either gatekeeping myself, my own mental health, or someone else was doing it for me, or the environment I was in was gatekeeping my own mental health and kind of making me believe that it was not gatekeeping, sorry, gaslighting. I was gaslighting myself, or other people were gaslighting me into making me think that I didn't have anxiety or depression or anything like that.
Okay.
So it was not a fun cocktail. But
and those were coping mechanisms that you like grew up with, right? So you were,
yes.
So how did like there was a point where you got to deconstruct it, like, and actually see it for what it was. Was that the college experience? Was it like the friends that you made that were like, or how did that happen?
So I didn't really, well, a little bit through college, but also I didn't really realize how much I was gaslighting my own like mental health until I started Twitch streaming in June 2020.
Wow.
I started, you know, gaining a community, and like sometimes topics on mental health would pop up, and then you start realizing that there are some people who are experiencing things very similarly to like how you're experiencing things.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, so I like have depression. And you're like, wait,
what is that?
You have depression? Oh, I have social anxiety because, you know, this. Wait, you do that to, wait, I also do that in grocery stores when I'm overwhelmed and super stimulated.
Yeah, overstimulated.
And like,
yeah.
Like what? Okay. And then like, just kind of figuring that out through Twitch streaming, and also validating my own sexuality through Twitch streaming, because people would come up with experiences that made me feel less alone, because the environment that I was in when I lived in like Southern Maryland, there's not a lot of people who are queer, and there's not a lot of a like Black community, so you don't get to know. And there's not anyone that can relate to my experiences, and if they can, it's someone who can relate to my Black experience, but they can't relate to being a Black queer individual, which is completely different. So there was a lot of self-discovery between, I want to say, the ages, or between the times of 2014 to shit now.
Yeah,
so
it would be completely different. Yeah, completely different.
Yeah, I mean, I just got diagnosed with ADHD yesterday.
Congratulations.
Like, thank you. And now I'm about to go get some medicine for that shit.
You just been raw dogging life, okay?
I've been raw dogging my mental health apparently, and I didn't know until like, first and foremost, don't do what I'm about to suggest. But my partner also has ADHD, and I tried his Adderall one day just to see like what was going on.
Yeah.
I am upset with myself because I allowed myself to I don't know, experience life how I've been experiencing it, because literally once I was taking that, I was so focused, I was very productive, and I was like, is this how it's supposed to be? Am I supposed to be able to focus on a topic without moving on to the next one?
Right.
Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So
yeah, and then I mean the whole diagnosis comes with a whole other, and I'm sure you'll discover this too, because naturally, like, I mean, once you open the box, it can't be unopened, I guess, right?
Yeah,
so,
it's a little bit scary.
Yeah, the shame surrounding it, like what you're describing too, like the shame of like, you know, is this what I could have been doing, and like all this stuff, and
yeah,
I mean that in itself, like the forgiveness of like yourself and like how you grew up and like the things you could have done, like all of that stuff is a grieving process. And that's something maybe I mean, I don't know if you learned about that yet, but that's like a really big part of, you know, the ADHD experience, is like deconstructing the shame and like, okay, there was nothing's wrong with you. It's just your brain works differently, and you have a tool that like assists with that difference, you know, or deficit, I guess.
Yeah, I haven't gone through the grieving part yet, and didn't know there was going to be one. So thanks for preparing me for that.
You're welcome. Yeah,
because I was like, wait, what? We're going to be grieving in a second, which makes sense what you just said. Yeah, because there is,
it's regret.
I mean,
you know,
there's regret, and there's also like, you just heard me do it, where I was shaming myself for it. Being like, what the hell? I was doing this entire time.
Yeah,
and then it's going to turn into, I need to probably forgive myself because I didn't know, and I didn't have the resources available to know more about myself. So yeah, that's a fun time.
Yeah, it's a fun time. It's a cycle of like, you don't even realize, because the part of that practice is like the negative self-talk of like, you know, like, oh, I can't do this thing, so therefore I am stupid, but you don't like articulate it. And so I think the medication helps a little bit with like, I mean, obstructing that thought process, and when it wears off, you can finally like hear that voice happen, and you're like, who the fuck are you?
It's like, get out of there.
Yeah, why are you here? I thought you weren't here. And it's like, no, I've just been in the background. Like, the shadow person, you know? Like, yeah.
You're a sleep paralysis demon. You're ready for your anxiety demon.
Yeah, except it lives inside in you. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, Twitch streaming, like, I think it's interesting that like Twitch streaming brought a lot of like reflection for yourself, and like you were able to see yourself in other people's experiences. And I know we talked a little bit about this too, was like your ability to remain you throughout this entire process of like starting Twitch streaming, and not like being, I guess like not indoctrinated. That's not the right word, but like, it's not like you saw other people and what they were doing and made like adopted their agreements for how to conduct yourself and like how to be a Twitch streamer. You kind of went it, or you didn't kind of, you went in full ass being like, I'm just going to do this for me. And then surrounding like the discovery of yourself, you created a community where like it was very conversational and authentic, but the way I saw it too was like, you didn't have, you like, when you say, people use the word community for like audience all the time, but you actually have a community of people, and the mod team you have is still the same mod team from when you started. Like how, so like, how did you, let's talk about like how you cultivated that from the start. I know it's a lot, right, to like try to summarize that, but how did you maintain your head above water and like see everything for what it is without getting like, I'm a content creator, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like this way of being that isn't like, that is disingenuous or like masks you, you know, from like that.
So there was a point of my like Twitch, like content creation or Twitch journey where I had to sit down and ask myself, why am I doing this? And one of the big things, and it's going to be the biggest thing throughout this entire journey, is I'm doing this for my younger self. I didn't have someone like me in media. Someone that I could look up to, look forward to, that would tell me that everything's going to be okay at the end of the day, and like, you're a bisexual little piece of shit. But at the end of the day, I'm doing it to help younger me and also forgive younger me, which is a big thing for me moving forward. But in the beginning of my Twitch career, my main thing was to find a space where I could be unapologetically myself, and then also find other people online who also needed a similar space to that. I didn't really look towards other people's communities on Twitch to see how to conduct it. I was literally just going in and just crossing my fingers and hoping. And then obviously looking up YouTube resources for like stream overlays, like how to do stuff. I remember one thing someone posted, I can't even remember the creator of the video. They were like, yeah, have pillars for your community. And I'm like, this sounds like a cult. Okay, let me try to do that. And like my biggest thing, I guess what I would consider pillars is I love engaging with the community and seeing them as a person and not just a viewer and not just a number for me.
Yeah.
And I make that very clear. And I'm like, y'all are people on the screen. Y'all are these little people in my computer screen who have like the most complex personalities, hilarious humor. It's very fun to interact with you all because I get to kind of gauge what you think is funny. And so people will come back. I know what jokes will hit with who at this point, because if you've been in my chat for probably like 3 days, I know what makes you laugh.
Right.
Because you've laughed in my chat and I know what you find amusing and I know how to get under your skin now. I know what I can post or what I can say for you to start spamming chat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like have a good time. And I don't know, it's kind of cool. It's just really cool.
Well, that's where your like researcher brain comes in. Like that's where when you were talked about like being like a biochemist, like pursuing that, like working in the government, like that's a practice of like how to think about things, right? But like you used it for like deconstructing individuals, not like maliciously, but it's just like that's how your brain works. So like when you see the patterns, which is also an ADHD thing, you're like, oh, I see you laughing at this joke. Like I remember that because the way you're like fucking losing your shit in this chat is memorable. And the next time you're in there, I'm like, how did you make it so personal? And I'm like, oh, it's like when you I mean, you just said you got recently diagnosed with ADHD. I'm like, it's the pattern recognition and also like the researcher in you, because like the patterns are fun. Like they're fun to do.
I always make a joke that's like, oh yeah, you know, I got a biochemistry degree and I like definitely use it every day when I Twitch stream. But like that's not a joke. I definitely use it every day when I Twitch stream because I'm researching. Even when I play games like Among Us, I would say I use my degree when I'm like Among Us. But yeah, when interacting with people, it's never like a malicious thing of like, oh, I'm trying to get you to engage. No whatsoever. I'm trying to make sure that
you're seen.
You're seen. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Because I was tired of being invisible. And I know there are a lot of people in this world who are tired of being invisible. A lot of people in my chat who are tired of being invisible and would just like to be seen and have a space for themselves.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, cool. How do I continue cultivating a space for ourselves now? And like, obviously at the end of the day, it still has to be a space for me, but I'm comfortable enough with the space to open up the doors and be like, hey, there's cool shit in here. Do you want to come in here and like hang out? Or you don't have to.
You don't have to. Yeah.
And like I have a lot of lurkers too that I love to call out ever since that fucking article about Ninja came out and I was quoted for dissing on Ninja.
Yeah.
Ever since then, I always call out my lurkers just during like a high train, which I'll probably explain in a second. But during a high train at the end, I always be like, lurkers, if you want to say hello, by all means you can. But if you don't want to say hello, thanks for supporting the stream regardless. And I hope you like whatever you're doing. I hope you accomplish your chores or errands or anything that you're doing in the background. Thanks for having me on the TV. But then I'll be like, also lurkers, I hate you. And then like the lurkers will come in chat and be like, all right, I'm out. I'll see you later. We're gone. But it's something I do that I've been doing every stream. And if you ask anyone in my community, they will lie to you and say, that's not true. Blizz hasn't done it every stream because I messed up one time. But I do something called a high train where about an hour 30 in, hour 30, I stop the stream. I introduce the stream.
Do you
I
have
talk
a
about ways that
timer?
they can sleep. Yeah, I look at the OBS timer.
Oh, okay.
And I tell chat how they can support the stream financially, which is through subbing, bits, tips, if they want to pay the mods, Pally, how they can support the stream non-financially, which is clipping and retweeting my Twitter status or reposting my Instagram story or anything like that. And then also say hello to each other. Now that's different than a hi train. After that, I wait about 5 minutes and I say, okay, let's do a hi train. And I will do this spiel that's like, hello, everyone. We're going to explain what a hi train is right now. But if you are in my chat right now, can you type hi, hey, or hello? A lot of times people will type hi, hey, and hello.
Yeah.
And I will go through the list and say hi, hey, hello to every single person. If you're a new person here and I see a first time message, definitely say hi, hey, hello if you want to. I do a cute little spiel for the first time chatters. If you are nervous about how to say hi, hey, hello, because sometimes coming into chats can be, you know, full of so much anxiety and be very intimidating. You can say sup fucker. I do not mind if you call me fucker, bitch, slut, or whore. You can call me all those things.
Permission based. I like that.
You want to say, if you're lurking, you want to say hello, by all means you can. And if you're lurking and want to remain lurking, by all means you can. Thank you so much for supporting the stream. Regardless, at the end of the day, let's get into it. And then we go through the list and just say hi, hey, hello to every single person. I say the name. I don't say the full name. Most of the times I have nicknames for people.
Sure.
But
yeah,
that's something that was established before. Anytime I give someone a nickname, I always ask first. And I'm like, hey, are you okay if I call you this?
Yeah.
Or do you have a name?
You did that with me when I came in. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a name?
KonkyTalk. So like, hi. Like, can I call you Konky? I was like, yeah, that's fine. You're like, all right, cool.
Yeah. And I just like lock it in my brain. Or I have sticky notes of if I say someone's name not inappropriately, if I say someone's name wrong,
incorrect.
Yeah, incorrectly. There we go.
Well, wrong, incorrect. I don't know why.
I don't know words.
Brain.
I'll ask them to phonetically spell it, and then I will I have a book of how to phonetically say.
Oh wow.
People's names. So,
that's cool.
And it's like it's to help see that visibility, and also I want to respect their identity at the end of the day too. So respecting pronouns as well. I have the pronoun extension.
Yeah.
Huge thank you to Alejo for making that. Pronoun Poppy is one of my biggest supporters, to be honest, and is just an overall great person.
Agreed. Yeah, especially if anything that makes people feel more inclusive. Like, I don't know. It's just it's weird that it has to be an extension outside of Twitch, in my opinion, and like can't just be something that people opt in or whatever. But I'm glad that we have people in the community in general that are willing to like go above and beyond to make those tools available for everybody. It's so good. Yeah,
it's like things like that that help people have their identity feel seen, but also things that help protect communities too. Like, for example, I don't know if you know about SiriBot. SiriBot, it was created by a creator called creator named Siri Codes. Siri Codes is heckin' amazing. SiriBot can stop any follow bot situation. Oh, and as someone who has recently last week got follow botted with 25,000 bots.
Holy shit.
As they were coming in, they were immediately getting blocked, banned, and removed.
That's amazing.
And it was over in like 5 minutes, and I didn't have to do anything afterwards.
Okay.
I just literally could just continue streaming. I was like, cool. Anyways, we're gonna watch a video.
I'm gonna take a note of that because I think that's a really good tool that would be useful for people.
Yeah, I can send you the link and everything because it's also I highly recommended. Siri Codes is also someone who comes in my chat here and there and is just the sweetest human being. But they noticed that there wasn't a lot of protection on Twitch in terms of follow botting and like hate raids and stuff like that.
Yep.
And so this bot has listed all of the troll accounts, all of the accounts that were just made and stuff like that, and can remove them very quickly. It's like Commander Root, but you don't have to do much. Like, you don't have to log in, just have that bot in the background. That
makes sense. So sorry, looping back, there was like a whole lot of spiel there. No, it's fine. It's fine. So like when we talked initially, I think it's so interesting, and this is part of like the way I'm like understanding this, and let me know if that's correct, but like you started streaming, the way you described it in our initial conversation was about like a place for escape, like to have people like come and validate themselves. But now I'm hearing how, and I think it started as an escape initially for you and then evolved into a place to be seen. And I think that language is super interesting. It's like it's no longer a place to escape. It is like you come here to be seen. Like, there is some escape in being seen, right? But like, I think that the duality of that language is really interesting.
Yeah, because it's like It's both of those things, which is super weird. Because like, if people ask me, I will either pick either answer there. But yeah, we originally, it was a place to escape because a lot was happening in the world. When I started streaming was June 2020, which means pandemic time. I was a product of the pandemic. And a lot of the times people needed a place to be social or a place to kind of just escape to because the world was literally on fire.
Still is, but you know.
Still. Yeah, but if we pretend it isn't, then it's fine. Like, out of sight, out of mind, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was an escape for myself because I was cooped up in like the house majority of the time. Didn't really have friends to talk to or interact with because we were all quarantining. And I know people needed a space as well, so I created what I wanted to create. But then it just became a chamber of validation and acceptance and uniqueness. And I was like, okay, cool. You're very seen here. I want you to know you can escape here, but you also will be perceived here for all your accomplishments and all the things that you're doing that honestly is pretty poggers. So
yeah, I mean, celebrating that I think is a really big part, you know? And I think, again, it's still fascinating to me that you didn't lose any like mods along the way. I think like it's very unique that you started streaming with like a group of mods and I'm sure you brought new mods in, but like
shoot, I started off I want to say with mods in the beginning, and then the new mods that got added in were people who were already there for like 2 years and just surviving. So
they were just there.
They all knew each other regardless. So
but the way you conduct it, this is like what I found fascinating too, is like, I mean, mods ultimately, they're extension of yourself, right? And so like most of the Twitch streamers that I have come across, like there are people who get unmodded, there are people who just like, I mean, they have really bad experiences with abusing power, like all of this stuff. But the way you've cultivated a mod team, I think also helps with the community a great deal. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. But like how you conduct like touch bases with your mod team and like support them monetarily too, I think is very unique. Like I know that there are other streamers who have like, you know, you can tip the mods and that sort of thing, but I haven't heard many people talk about like, you know, like your meetings and like touching base with them and making sure they're okay and taking time off from streaming so that they can, you know, recoup. Like, can you tell us a little bit about that?
So something I realized that we had to do was take breaks, because I'm really bad at taking a vacation and, you know, actually taking care of myself. So I get called out by my mods all the time. That's like, ha ha ha, Blizz, you're so cool, you should learn to take a break. And I'm like, oh, okay, being shady today. That's great. But a lot of the times there are moments where I feel like I'm constantly on the forefront of like a lot of hate or a lot of situations that go on, and it's like, hey, let's just take a step back, because yes, this is emotionally taxing for me. It can also be emotionally taxing to the community, but it also can be emotionally taxing for the mods who have to protect the community while I'm doing what I'm doing.
Right.
So,
and they're adopting that energy too. So like to even think that they're not seeing, because they see ultimately everything, like they're protecting the community, right?
Yeah.
And like seeing a lot of things proactively. And so like they have to see those logs and like all of that. Yeah. Because to say it doesn't affect them is that would be not true.
The shit that I get, the shit that's in like my unban request or people getting banned or stuff, like the stuff that people say is just like, Jesus, I'm okay, because I like anything that someone says isn't not original to me. I'm like, I've heard this growing up. Like you could have done better. Like honestly, now I'm gonna critique your like your negative comment, because it's like, did you really try to do something here and you really didn't? But with my mods, like they have to deal with that stuff like every day, which sucks. I remember I experienced the first mod burnout and I was like, oh my God.
Tell me about that.
Yeah. So no shade, no tea to Twitch, but I was highlighted as one of the Black creators for Black History Month. And something that I was not aware of was every time you streamed, at least for me, I would be on front page.
Every single time.
Every time. And originally, when I was a full-time creator, I would stream 20 days out of a month. That is a lot. That is a lot. And so
That's
I
a lot
had
of front
to
page time.
halfway through February, we ended up taking a week off because it was a lot of burnout. And my mods were like, I don't know if I can keep being here. I'm so tired.
Yeah.
I'm like having to deal with this. And I said, cool, I understand that. I'm honestly fine to just like not stream for a week. I don't want y'all to feel bad about it, but also I'm tired as well. And if I'm tired and you're tired, we're not going to be able to do what we want to do and have like continue creating the content that we want to create. So we're going to take off. And I think that was like the first time that like the mods really understood that I'm there for them.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, if something's going on, if y'all are not feeling it, let me know. I'm fine. I'm going to deal with it how I deal with it.
So was that like when you started doing the weekly touch bases, or were those happening beforehand and then this happened?
Those were happening beforehand. And, you know, I would have like little conversations with my mods here, like one-on-one, just being like, hey, checking in, like, how are you doing? Like, are you good? What's the vibe? How you feeling?
So how does that look like for you? Like, are you reaching out via message and then like talking on voice? Is it a mix of both? Like, what do you?
It's Discord, but it's like Discord messages, but it has been in some situations where we've had conversations on voice chat where I'll be like, hey everyone, I'm going to be in voice chat in like 10 minutes. Anyone can come in, we can talk, just tell me what you're feeling right now, because that's all I really care about, and then I will assess the situation moving forward. So it's like kind of putting myself in that leadership position.
No, you are. I mean, you're doing managerial stuff. Like you're having one-on-ones with like, you know, your employees essentially, or like the people who have agreed to help you out. And that's super important. I don't think, again, like that relationship, like the way you've had it is like, they look to you as a resource and a leader in this space, like in the space you've cultivated, but it's like, you are making a stand and being like, hey, I am here for you and I will be here for you, whether or not you're like available or not. You know, I'll be in voice and you can let me know. You're giving them space to approach, which, I mean, like, you're already an approachable person, but like well, I mean, it's true, but but to like, I mean, personality wise, but it's so interesting that you it's fascinating to me that you're able to like see and maybe this is just because of like I'm 33, so like that practice of like using electronics as like an extension of myself, I use it more of like an artistic sense, you know, or like visual sense, but like to take your personality and be like, okay, this is what I would do in a remote environment, like before remote was a thing. That's super, like, I don't know if anybody's told you this, but that's forward thinking as fuck. Like, that's such a good thing to be doing. And my biggest thing is like engagement, you know, but also like at the end of the day, people are people still across the internet. So like being able to you know, showcase your personality through messages, or you know, transform your tone to be understood through text messages, because tone is really hard to reach from text messages, but like luckily diction is very helpful in creating some sort of emphasis or tone that you need. But yeah, no, it's my biggest thing is like letting them know that I'm here for them. Anytime I like travel and I know that a mod is like in a state that I'm in, I will hit them up and be like, hey, do you want to go get lunch? It's on me. Because like I want them to know. I'm like, y'all have been here for like 2 years and we've gone through so much shit just to like exist. I mean, even two of my mods have created a 16-page mental health resource sheet that has been spread out to like multiple streamers. I know Cheebs has it, and I think Ashley has. All these people have it just readily available, and I'm like, y'all took time out of your day to go do that? Oh, you must really care.
It's like, well, y'all care. Okay,
very
that's
much
disgusting. I couldn't be me. But yeah, I just my mods know I'm there for them, and I will always be there for them no matter what. We have our mod chat up where, you know, sometimes people will be like, I can't do today, and like the mods are like, that's okay, I'll cover you today, no worries.
You have a fucking schedule too, like that's crazy.
It's like, which is weird because like we don't schedule anything, and we always make the joke of like, when we had new mods join in like year one, my mods were like, or the new mods were like, Blizz, are you gonna train us? And I was like, what? And then the old mods were like, no, you're just coming with me. Just come with me.
They like open the door in like the office or whatever, and you're just like got the piss sign behind you. You're like, what's going on? Like, this is the new mod. This is Blizz. I'm gonna go over here and show them the roast, you know?
And you're like, oh, okay. So like they know everything. And then anytime I try to do modding stuff, I'll mess up some way and they're like, hey Blizz, just putting this out here, stop doing modding stuff. That's our stuff. And I'm like,
stop touching the fucking controls.
I'm like, I'm pressing buttons and mods are like, stop. And I'm like, okay. But yeah, I trust them with my stream. I trust them. I honestly trust them fully because they understand what my boundaries are and they understand like the content I'm trying to create and the environment that I'm trying to create because they helped create that environment as well.
Right.
So a lot of things that they've contributed, like I have mods who are in charge of Discord stuff. I have mods who are in charge of adding BTTV emotes to make like things a lot
organization. Funnier. You're doing the research or the biochemist thing.
It's super weird because like people just fell into things. I had mods who focus on quotes. I have mods who focus on clipping and stuff like that. And I'm like,
well, you identified that in their behavior before they were mods usually, right? So you were like, you're really good at this. Can you continue to do this for me? You know, you're just asking. Like, that's so
I'm like, wow, great. You're funny and you're good at making quotes happen. And also
it's your attention to detail with like the biochemist thing. Like it translated into like people.
Yeah, I did.
You know,
it's honestly a great transformation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're clearly much happier doing this, you know?
Oh yeah. Oh my God. I'm so like, being in an office job is like great. I mean, I'm currently in an office job technically, if we think about it.
Yeah, but come on, Rooster Teeth with like a bunch of people. Yeah.
A bunch of creative people and constantly talking about streaming and content creation. Yeah, no, it's
versus like a government job. Like I've worked in a government job before too, and like these not to say they're different kind of people. It's just like so isolating and like stressful.
Yeah.
And it's just like a mesh of all these different personalities. But at least in the creative space or creative industry, right, there's like a lot of like-minded people, like whether you're a gamer or like you like streamers or streaming or whatever. Like that's such a good transition.
Yeah, there's like something comfortable, and I realized it because when it comes to streaming, a lot of times when you have an idea, it's just you critiquing your idea,
right?
But like now I'm in a room with people where I'll have an idea and someone can critique it or add on to it to make it better,
right?
And like help it take it places that I never thought of taking it before.
Yeah.
And so I was really happy when joining Rooster Teeth last year, because I finally felt like I could, one, have a team to help produce the ideas that were too big for just me, and also create media on a wide scale that can be both like for marginalized like groups and also for myself at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So it was like really cool that Rooster Teeth gave me this opportunity to do that and be that. And I'm excited to see like where the future goes, but I've also already had things that were successful that I'm really happy about.
Right.
So I'm like, this is going pretty good.
Yeah. We're just gonna ride this out, see how it goes.
Yeah, we're just gonna ride this out and see
how
it goes.
I mean, you manifested that too, right? You just like tweeted out, I would love to work with you guys, and then somebody hit you up, right? Is that how
someone take my Twitter away, because like it's such a problem what I do. Yeah, I tweeted, I said, hey, I would love to work with Achievement Hunter and Rooster Teeth. And one of my friends, defined by Kai, was like, vouch. And we literally just met. We talked about this on the RT pod recently too. We literally just met, and I was like, wait, you're vouching for me? Like we've interacted once, and I guess the vibe was just good. And so Rooster Teeth emailed me and was like, hey, do you want to do a remote collab on this date? And I was like, oh, I can't. I'm actually flying to Austin to go visit friends that weekend, that week. And they were like, oh, our studio's in Austin. Do you want to come in to our studio and like game with us in person? I was like, in person? Yeah, no, I'm down. And I remember like my first, I guess, debut as a guest for Achievement Hunter, and we played Dead by Daylight, and it was so funny, and like people were laughing and they were great. They were tweeting me afterwards, and I was like, oh God, okay, this community is like really sweet and really nice. But there's always good things and there's always bad things that happen. So recently I've been trying my best to really cater to the voices of the community that aren't necessarily super vocal. And I know they're out there because they showed that they were out there recently. But a lot of times I would get hate. I don't know if you've seen on Twitter, I get hate for comments. I get called one of my favorite fucking comments. I'm not gonna. It's so mean, but someone says I have the charisma of a drywall, and I was like, honestly, it's so funny to me because I'm just like, I don't think you know me.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like, I don't think you know me, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And then like another comment of someone saying that I look like I have acid thrown in my face and stuff like that. And I'm like, it's wild. The comments are so fucking wild. So for the longest time, I thought the Rooster Teeth community hated me. There would be like Reddit threads about me and about how I'm not funny, I'm not entertaining, how I'm not funny, but I wasn't hired because I was funny. I was hired because I was entertaining, but also I focused on community engagement and wanting to, really listen to the community. And people didn't really see that yet, so I was like, it's okay. I'm like, at the end of the day, yeah. And people, there were like some comments where people were like, Blizz, it's really hard to warm up to you because you just miss all of our critiques. And me just in a Reddit thread just being like, hi, I'm just going to lay this out all on the table. A lot of the times what we consider to be critiques aren't critiques. There's a fine line from constructive criticism and just negatively bashing on someone because of their identity. Yeah. And a lot of the times we see the negatively bashing on someone for their identity. If it's actually a critique, I'm going to take that.
Yeah,
obviously.
It's not specific when it's just like you suck or like you're ugly.
It's like, your voice sucks. Yeah. You're too black or something like that. And I'm like, how tell me how I can change that. I'm just like, what do you want me to do? I can't change that. So a lot of it. So I opened my heart up and I was like, I'm going to be transparent with you. This community, like on the Reddit thread, sometimes y'all are a little brutal and it makes it really hard for new people to want to join in.
Right. And if there was I'm not just to stop too, just really briefly, like your tenacity and stubbornness related to like, I mean, you cultivated this growing up. It's like, fuck you. I'm just going to be this person. It like fuels you. Yeah. It fuels you. It fuels me. Yeah. So like, I mean, yeah, it fucking hurts, but like it's for a community to be so non-accepting and for you to open your heart instead of being like, fuck you, like really is a big testament for like how much you've grown as a person too.
Yeah. But it's also realizing that the people on like that thread, the people in that part of the internet, that is the vocal minority.
Right. It's also not personal.
It's not personal. It's not personal whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it started making me wonder, am I doing things correctly in terms of creating content for Rooster Teeth? Are there people who actually enjoy having me on the screen or having me create things? And I just wasn't sure until one day I opened my DMs. I have my DMs closed constantly, but I opened my DMs on Twitter just to see what was going on. And I was like, hey, I'm gonna leave my DMs open for 4 hours. Anyone can go in there, do whatever. I thought it was gonna be bad. It wasn't. It was literally a lot of Rooster Teeth community members being like, hi, I've been watching Rooster Teeth for 20 years. I want to say that you have been an amazing addition and you're very funny. And I honestly hate seeing the comments online that are negatively like criticizing you because I genuinely see myself now in the content because I didn't see myself in the content before. And I'm very happy that like you're adding in this like marginalized perspective and like just humor and comedy. So thank you for doing that. And I'm like, I'm gonna throw up. That's always my response. And I'm like, that's super sweet. But my inbox was filled up with like 200 plus messages in that 4 hours, which I was like, holy shit, of just people being and very kind and very happy.
Like engage with that. You were just like, hey, it's open.
I said, it is open.
That's it.
Be respectful. That's it. Yeah. And then they were like, they were all respectful and they were all really nice. And I was,
that's beautiful.
Looked to myself and I said, I'm going to continue doing stuff for this community because I know there are people out there. I know there are voices out there that aren't the vocal minority that genuinely enjoy what we are doing and what we're trying to do and transform Rooster Teeth to like a more updated time.
Yeah,
because
to better represent the people that are fans and the people that want to be a part of the community that were otherwise excluded because they didn't have somebody that represented them.
Yeah,
that's huge.
It used to just be like 4 straight dudes on the couch just playing video games and doing stuff like that. And like now there's so much more. There's so much more comedy. And there is someone that you can find yourself within while looking at the cast of Rooster Teeth, whether it's Funhouse, Achievement Hunter, or Squad Team Force. Like you can find someone that you relate to. And that's that I can at least say, I promise. There's a 99% chance that you should be able to But it's cool. It's cool to be a part of that change and a part of that push. And I understand if people are upset about it, because like you always are going to tie on to nostalgia.
Sure.
Like nostalgia is always going to be a thing that you're going to enjoy. But hopefully you can still find joy in what is being created today from us. So.
Yeah, I think that'll definitely be the case, because when it comes down to it, I mean, you can only do the same thing for so long, right? And and I mean, whether or not people agree with it, like personally, diversity pushes forward change in a positive way, you know? So like whether that's comedy, laws, you know, politics, whatever, like with the inclusion of more identities and people that can be represented, it just makes for a better community. Like people see themselves. It's just like, I want to participate in this more. You know what I mean?
It brings new voices. It brings new like perspectives, that connection that you're not going to get from like a white straight male maybe. Right. But like if you're someone who's experiencing like the queer life, and you're like, how are you know, folks who are older, or how are other people experiencing with this situation that happens within the queer community? And it's like, oh, I could just tell you, because I just literally went through that last week. We can just talk about it right now if you want. Okay, yeah, here's the story. And like being able to easily relate and have answers to what you are looking for easily. And I'm like, that's so cool. I wish there was content like that for me growing up, and I would love that. Well, I already have that now, but I would love that when I was 16, or knew that existed when I was 16. But like now I am being that person. So
for your 16-year-old self.
For my 16-year-old self.
Yeah. That's so beautiful. It comes full circle too, because it's eventually like, it's not just, I know you started off like seeing it for you, but it's very cool to get all that feedback. Like when you're in this new space, in this like content creation conglomerate of like Rooster Teeth, and then get all this positive feedback, it just reinforces and reignites that like passion you have for the reason why you got into this space for the first, you know, in the first place. That's so great.
It's comforting, but then also like they know that if they have feedback, like actual constructive criticism, I already laid on the line, you can say that, and honestly I will take that, and I can do the best that I can with that. But if it's something like attacking my identity, I can't change that. You know, I can't change that. So why did you say it? Yeah,
it's definitely like I don't know. It's one of those things where like they tell on themselves usually with these sort of comments. And I know like the hardest part I think for most people is like seeing those things and like realizing it's not personal. It's really just a reflection of like how that person exists as an individual, you know, and their resistance to change and like how they process it. It's like very complex. And I'm not saying, you know, people shouldn't react like it is personal, because you know it's your identity they're attacking. Like I totally understand the emotional wounds that you carry. As a 8.5 by 11 man, white man who is cis straight, I don't have the ability to like really be in somebody's shoes, but I can empathize with it greatly, you know. So
it's definitely like, I think when I would see comments like that, my mental health wasn't in the best place, obviously. So I would take it personal, but at the end of the day, I had to realize like, nah, you're kind of like projecting, but also this is how you're viewing the world, and this is how you react to change, and that sucks. That sucks that this is your coping mechanism for doing that. But you also have to understand that at the end of the day, there are people on camera. The people on camera that you see are actual people with emotions and feelings, and like we're just trying our best to create entertainment for you. And if it's not for you, it is not for you, and that's a-okay. And I hope you find the content that you're looking for in other places. In our platform, that's fine. But like there is content out there for you. You might not see it through me, but that's okay. That is a-okay. But I hope you do find what you're looking for out there, and it's nothing malicious. Like I never want to force someone to consume the content that I'm producing. If you don't like it, don't watch it. I'm gonna be honest. I'm fine with it regardless. Because I know there's someone out there who does like the content, because I've already been told that. So yeah, that's about it.
That's good. That's beautiful. I'm glad that you got to have this experience. I know we talked a little bit about like what you're hoping to do in the future. You wanted to talk about like hosting a game show or work with Twitch one-on-one.
Yeah, no, I would like to work with Twitch one-on-one.
Yeah, let's manifest it, because we got the tweet out, right? So like, what's this new?
Yeah.
What are we manifesting now?
So I want to manifest hosting a show for Twitch, maybe a series for Twitch, where it's more like a reality game show, but for Twitch streamers. I don't want to say the idea out loud.
Yeah, don't give the idea away. We're just generally manifesting. Yeah, nobody steal it.
But secretly, I've been talking to Twitch, trying to make things happen. So we are hopefully going to have something in the next coming months, or the next year, because I feel like this would be a fun opportunity for creators to interact with each other that haven't had the chance to, but also ways to lie and gaslight and gatekeep creators that you haven't met yet, and also hopefully make friendships from that, because I love games like that. So
it's a game, guys.
it's a game, and I lied to you this entire time.
All of this has been a lie.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, we're this is how we start. We end the conversation with like, all of this is fake, and it was rehearsed.
You, I'm not Blizz Bear.
Fantastic. Awesome. I guess like before we wrap up, what would you say, like, I mean, if you had to give advice, right, to people who are trying to enter this space or pursue something creative, or are finding difficulty in the starting. I think that's probably one of the biggest things people deal with in the creative space, is like it's very easy to get swept up in the numbers aspect of it, and like the engagement, and are people engaging? Are they like, do you have subscribers? Do you have some visible thing to show growth, right?
Yeah.
And me personally, that has been a practice too. Like, I've been finding the rewards in the creative process. Like, the reward is creating, and then the aftermath or whatever it is I don't want to think about that, because it doesn't, like, it'd be nice, but it's not like my focus. So how would you, I guess, like, for anybody who's trying to enter the space, what would you say to them in terms of like motivation or advice, I guess, like if they're already in the space, maybe?
One of the biggest things that's kind of been hitting me hard is a quote from, I wish I knew the quote, or who said the quote, but it's in my affirmation book. I have a book for like 365 days of affirmations. But the quote is, if you didn't build the box, don't try to fit in it. And I think that's very big, because a lot of the times we will look up to creators we'll look up to big creators, especially through Twitch or through like YouTube, where we'll try to be like the next Ludwig or try to be the next XQC or something like that. You got to understand that how they run things and how they did things worked for them. It will not work for you. You have to find your own way of doing that. And that's going to be difficult, obviously, but you have the capability, you have the potential of finding what works best for you, because it's you, it's your narrative, it's your story. So if you didn't build the box, don't fit in it. Build your own box, and you can fit in that box. And that's basically it.
Fuck yeah. All right, Blizz, where can they find you?
You can find me everywhere, except Facebook, but you can find me on TikTok, Twitch, or Twitter, mostly Twitter, because I'm in chaos there, under Blizzbear. That's BLIZZ, B3AR, no E, 3 instead, because I'm quirky, and I got my name from Maple Story. And yeah, I think that's about it. Oh, also I'm on Rooster Teeth, roosterteeth.com. You can see a bunch of the stuff that I've created there, or stuff that I've appeared in. But yeah, I think that's about it.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for being a guest on the show. All those links, if you couldn't keep up with like the way the spelling was done, they'll be listed in the description of this video.
Figure it out.
Fucking figure it out, okay?
Fucking figure it out.
No links will be in this description. You're just gonna have to fucking figure it out, okay? Because we Google works. You'll find
Google
it.
works.
I promise. I believe in you. Thanks again, Blizz, so much for being on the show. This has been the Exp Talk Show. I am KonkyTalks, or Steve, or Konky. That's complicated. Like, subscribe, whatever. Thank you so much for being here, Blizz. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.